Welcome, Watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion, looking at Pac-Mania today on the MSX. Been quite looking forward to this because Pac-Mania is probably one of my favourite arcade games of all time, and I loved it on the ZX Spectrum and the Amiga and obviously the arcade. So here we are, right in the game itself, which, to be fair, is really nice and colourful, isn't it? Now, the Spectrum did a great job of this as well. And the Specky also had the ability to have Pac-Man as yellow, and there was other stuff around. So, other colours, I mean. And it did a really good job. So this is really quite nice. And to see an 8-bit system like this, with this much colour, is rather special. And yeah, it's doing a good job so far. Now, the only thing I would say is that it's a little slow. But you know what? I can forgive that. We're not on a massively powerful computer here, we're on an MSX, which, you know, has done a great job in the past of other games from the arcade and done a rather splendid job, and this is with no exception. And obviously you're going to experience slowdown on the older machines because they just didn't have the processing power to be able to handle too much on the screen at any one time. But the fact we've got a full colour UI there on the right hand side with our high score and current score and 2-player. Oh yeah, 2 players, but it's not simultaneous. By the way, boo! We just got hit by a red meanie. Anyway, so presentation of the game is absolutely fab. It's definitely Pac-Mania, and it's definitely more reminiscent of the arcade game than any other version that I've seen in the 8-bit systems, which is great. Not seen the C64 or the Amstrad versions just yet, but we will be moving on to those at some point in the future, so do not worry, I will be covering them all. I do believe the PlayStation had a spot-on version of this, and you'd really kind of expect it to, really, on one of the Namco Museum compilations. Something else which I'm going to be looking at, because that's one of the versions. I think it's Namco Museum Volume 4, which has Pac-Land on it, which was again one of the arcade perfect compilations that you could get Pac-Land on, because some of the home conversions were a bit ropey, to say the least. But there you go. So everything is here. You can use the fire button to jump, which is one of the things that made this game stand out from the other Pac-Man games, apart from obviously the 3D isometric sort of view, which is quite a nice feature as well. With the Lego blocks type thing here, or Duplo blocks as it might be, around which can form the level, which is actually quite good fun and very colourful, and will appeal to a multitude of different gamer ages as well. So that's really cool, and it's a fun game. Pac-Mania has always been one of my top favourites, as I said earlier, and the reason being, it's just a ton of fun. And the fact that you can now jump with Pac as well, which is great, gives you that extra little bit of gameplay, which separates him from the obviously just the standard maze game that he came from originally. Obviously, this is still a maze game, but there are now different mazes, different ghosts, different abilities that they can have. Eventually, I think the ghosts will also jump with you, which makes it that little bit harder. So, it's really good. I'm really, really pleased with this. It does say Namcot at the bottom there, but I do believe this was produced by Namco. So there you go. But everything's intact. There's the little cutscenes in between levels. Again, really nicely done. So let's move on to sound. The sound is definitely and most definitely arcade perfection almost, and we've got all of the soundtracks as well, all in place. All the level design is here. I love the fact you get a different music for the different levels, and so far it's actually probably one of the more authentic Pac-Mania soundtracks that I've actually heard on a home conversion. So I'm giving that a massive thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen, because it deserves it. So they've really done well to squeeze this much of an arcade game onto a system like the MSX, and you know, these games continue to blow me away anyway. Just while I'm thinking about it, I do apologise for the lack of reviews lately, guys. I'm having a lot of issues going on with my kids at the moment. I'm not going to go into any details, but needless to say, my stress levels are through the roof. But this channel does help keep me sane. So I do apologise. Things might be a bit slow over the coming weeks, but I will definitely be keeping on top of the channel and bringing out new release content and all that kind of stuff that you're used to. And then hopefully once things balance themselves back out again, I'll be back on it like a car bonnet, or whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. But yes, the content will come out again, but it all depends how I'm feeling, how stressed I am, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. But anyway, back to the review. So the controls are very, very simple. Up, down, left, right, jump. There's not much more I can say about that, really. They are responsive, they work, and yeah, I love it. It's just one of those games. It's a feel-good game as well. I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack's going to perk you up immediately, and I don't know. It's iconic. I think especially the first level music, it's iconic as far as I'm concerned, because it always that emotes that kind of positivity and fun that you remember from the arcade, which is, that's how home systems should have been, really. Pac-Mania was it was a bit of a weird one, really, because I remember the first time I ever saw Pac-Mania was on an arcade machine. I was on holiday with my parents, and they had this arcade machine, and I was like, what the hell is this? It's Pac-Man, but it's not Pac-Man. It's Pac-Man, but it's cool. And I do remember that very, very clearly. And another reason is because when you go on holiday when you're little and you make friends with people who are just completely random people who you maybe never see again or anything like that. But I do remember them having a really bizarre conversation about Pac-Man having dreadlocks. I don't know. Maybe if that sparks any sort of memory in you, if you remember having a bizarre conversation about Pac-Man having dreadlocks, maybe you're the person that I was with playing Pac-Mania with in that holiday resort. It was in the UK, by the way. But yeah, maybe that's you. And if it was, get in touch. If not, hope you enjoyed the anecdote. Anyway, yeah, Pac-Man with dreadlocks. Can you imagine? No, neither can I. Anyway, playability. It's really good. Like I said, the only sort of downside is it's slightly slower than you'd expect it to be. But again, you can't really tell it off too much for that, because it's on an 8-bit system. So there you go. And they've packed in so much colour. Packed. See what I did there? But they've jammed so much stuff into this game to make it as arcade perfect as possible, and they've done a very, very good job. All the ghosts have their individualities. You have is Clyde the purple one? I think I always get or is he Inky? I can never remember, but there you go. He's the one that seems to be a bit more of a menace to you later on in the game. The red one seems to be a bit more aggressive in this game, but there you go. Yeah, so I mean, playability, it's great. You're going to come back to this game, and it's because it's got the 2-player option as well. You can play with a friend. It is turn-based, but that's never a bad thing. Those jumps, I'm not timing very well, but yes, you can also do a tournament if you wanted to. You could do a 4-player tournament quite easily by having 2 players set up, and then swap the controller over to different players as and when you die. So you could do it as a team game if you wanted to do that. There's always ways to make these single-player games into multiplayer games very, very simply, and that's just one of my suggestions. So, yeah, and the replay value, well, I can tell you now from experience that this is one of those games. If you enjoy this kind of maze game, you're going to want to come back to it again and again, because it's just got that feel-good factor. And if you're having a bit of a bad day, you come to it, and this has perked me up a little bit, actually, folks. But it's one of the games that I like to come back to every now and again and have a bit of a chucker on. It's absolutely brilliant. And obviously for age rating, well, really, it's Pac-Man. It's Pac-Man, but in 3D. So there you go. You can't really go wrong with it, can you, guys? What I would ask is, did you play Pac-Man, or Pac-Mania I should say? Did you play Pac-Mania on the arcade? Did you play it at home? Which system did you play it on, and have you completed it? Is there actually a completion, or does it just carry on forever? Questions that I feel we need answers to. But yeah, let me know in the comments, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are and what your fondest memories of Pac-Mania are. Mine obviously being having a bizarre conversation about Pac-Man having dreadlocks. I just don't know. But yeah, I had very fond memories of this on the ZX Spectrum 128, because the 128K version had music, which is even better, and they squeezed a hell of a lot into that as well. Pac-Mania on the Spectrum has been reviewed on the channel, so if you fancy going and having a look at that, go to videos, hit the search, and put in Pac-Mania, and it will show you what systems it has been reviewed on. But that's about it from me, folks. I will be back very soon with a brand new review, and thanks very much for all of your support. Thanks for the comments that are left on a frequent basis. I will always make sure I get round to replying to you. Even if I put a thumbs up and a heart on your comment, it means I'm going to come back to it and give you a proper reply at some point. So don't be dejected or anything like that if I haven't written a comment. But I always read them and always appreciate them. So thanks ever so much for you guys that do that. And for those of you who support on Patreon, thank you for that as well. It always helps to get the channel moving forward. Anyway, that's it from me. I will catch you again very soon with something from a new system, perhaps. Well, we'll just see how we get on. But until then, I hope you have a good weekend, and I will catch you very soon back on the Retro Revival Show next week with something else that you might not have seen before. So there you go. That's all I'm giving you. Anyway, that's it from me. You keep it retro, and until next time, I bid you farewell. Ta-da!